ones, and friends. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Johnny Sanders, and we're going to have another talk discussion uh, regarding some topics that came out of my book, Truth and Life. And that's the name of the channel, which has been basically birthed from the book that I've written. And what I want to be able to do is provide information, provide helpful tools that will help you in your life endeavors. Okay? So, in this particular book, in this particular chapter, I'm talking about leadership and when you're thrust in the realm of leadership, um, even though you may have been walking in leadership prior to, and when I say thrust, meaning you're getting more responsibilities, you're getting put in a role that is higher than you've had before. Okay, that's a good thing, but there's also some new feelings and actually inside turbulence that you have to navigate through. And it's not always easy, but it's always there. And most, if not all, people, when they're being trailblazers or tasked to do something for the very first time, especially on a monumental scale, it can be a daunting task, it can be scary, and you can have something that's called self-doubt, right? So in this particular segment today, what I want to talk about is um, our leaders, our trailblazers. Um, Even if you don't feel like you are that, most likely, if you have led on a small scale, selling cupcakes, selling lemonade, uh, you have done a leadership type of function and role. Okay? It may not be something on a large magnitude scale, but just on your level, you've been leading. Okay? So, one of the things that I talked about in the book is the burdens of taking the lead. The burdens of taking the lead. And again, it can be a very, very scary thing when thrust into that new role. So one of the things that I wish to share with you um, as a leader myself and as someone who has had to walk out a new plan, a new task where I've been given certain assignments, and these assignments cast a certain light upon you. It was a certain light that was put upon me. And for me, I was just trying to do a good job and do what was asked of me. But nevertheless, the light was on me. And I didn't understand it at the time. I understand it now. But I didn't understand it at the time exactly where I was and exactly how people were looking at me. Because again, I'm just going to try to just do my best job, do my best duty, do my best to fit in. And a lot of times I didn't. Sometimes today I don't. But that's okay. And again, after a period of time, I've learned to just um, adapt, adjust, and understand that it's going to be that way sometimes. I've never been one to try to please everybody. That's impossible. You would drive yourself crazy. Okay. So, um, but in my new role and task as leader in this specific project, in the beginning, because I've been thrust in several since then, but in the beginning, man, it was an unusual feeling. It was an uncomfortable feeling. It was a feeling that, did I do something wrong? I know I've been operating. I'm not being looked at the same. The people that I've been working with that know me, at least I thought they knew me, they're not treating me the same. In fact, they're distancing themselves. And I'm going, what is happening around here? Because I didn't understand what was happening and what this mean, what it meant in this new realm, this new era. Okay. Um, I'm still the same Johnny. My mindset is still, I want to do a good job. I want to be able to be helpful. Um, my mindset is and has been inclusivity, in doing things together, in unity, in a group. But you know what? I learned everybody doesn't think that way. They don't think that way. And I was setting myself up for failure initially because of my innocent level of thinking. And I had to get educated and, in a sense, grow up very quickly with the new role, the new responsibility, the new tasks that were placed in my hands because someone looked at me and thought, you know what, he can do this. And I'm comfortable with what Johnny has to bring to the table. He can do this. Now, that wasn't an easy thing for me at first. Now, I'm very confident in myself. I'm very confident in knowing that I can do anything that God puts in my hands because He's the one that gave it to me. So there's a confident level that I have on the inside that if He does it, if He has given it to me, then He knows that I can do it. And I have to catch up, if you will. I have to catch up to what has been given and entrusted in me to be able to do. So initially, I had internal conflict. I was struggling at first with the encounter of trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, how am I supposed to interact, how am I supposed to challenge myself and others to do what's ahead, right? Um, I have a background in sports as well, and competition in sports. And it's not just in sports, competition is everywhere in business, but I'm talking specifically about sports because that's initially where I got the competitive edge and drive and desires from to accomplish certain things, right? And I was very good at sports. I enjoyed sports. I still love sports. And I was even able to, at a young age, very young age, take the lead and help the team, be there for the team. Um, when we were in Little League, I was the one champion to get an ice cooler and make sure that everyone had Gatorade and water and chips for the whole team, even if it meant giving away or giving up my allowance money. Okay, that was my mentality then, and it has grown and expanded expeditiously as a grown man today. But as I was growing up and as I was dealing with leadership, I had self doubt. I had self doubt that, especially when it was something new and the task was large, I was lacking the confidence that I needed. And I had self doubt in my own abilities that was hindering me for a little bit from stepping up and taking charge on some things. Um, as I said, even in sports and Little League and helping, me wanting to help with the Gatorade, me wanting to help with the snacks for the other kids, it was my way of helping and giving with what I knew on that level. Okay. And even denounced to myself, I didn't know that it would create some animosity with other kids, with other parents, um, of just me trying to be nice and helpful. They took it as a slant the other direction, um, which caused me to step back a little bit and like, whoa. Um, as a child, yeah, there were times where kids would try to bully me. Um, they didn't like what I was doing. They could have done it, but I took the initiative. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I saw a need. I saw an opportunity. I saw an opportunity to bring the team together, and that's what I was trying my best to do. So, as I've gotten older and as I've hit my head on a few of these different types of opportunities, whenever a new task would be thrust upon me, I would get a little fear of failure, a little fear with anxiety, um, thinking about, man, how many mistakes am I going to make because I'm out here? Um, Sometimes I felt like I was on an island, and there was a fear of making mistakes or not meeting the expectations that was um, put on me, or even I put on myself in my own head, uh, as I would listen to what was asked of me next. Um, there was a fear of failure. There was a fear to cause me to be a little bit indecisive, right? Um, I was a little nervous of what decision should I make. Um, who should I give certain things to, or what should I do next? Because I didn't want to make a blunder. I didn't want to make a mistake. I wanted to continuously move forward and be an effective helper. I'm not even going to say leader because in my head, I was trying to be an effective helper, but I was a leader, and I still am. So, um, what I learned in that, I learned to value conflicts when there were certain personal values that were clashing with their values or lack thereof. Um, it was creating a little bit of tension. And yes, it caused me to have hesitation. But um, when asked to do something that looks greater than you, or greater than what you're normally used to, or greater where you have elevated some sense in your life, um, especially with friends that are in the same position or same place or same space. I remember um, graduating from school, getting my associate's degree in computer science. And I remember getting my first class, no, my second class engineering license, and watching others around me. I'm happy just trying to achieve, right? I'm grinding. I've gotten my education on one aspect, then I've got another education in getting licensed. And I noticed um, people giving me some static, some haterade, if you will. And I wanted to be able to again fit in, and I'm still trying to maneuver and adjust and make my way with the people that I believe were with me. I believed they were with me to a certain degree, as long as I stayed, copacetic, if and do things that was in line with where they were and what they want to do. Um, they were okay with that, and for me, I never really just roll with the peer pressure thing. I've always been an oddball, doing what I believe what was best and comfortable for me, which made me look like an oddball, right? But when I was able to get my second class engineering license, and the goal was to get my first class engineer's license, and I had a job finally because I was struggling trying to get a decent paying job. And what I was feeling at the time, and again, I'm battling the emotions, I'm dealing with friends and listening to the things that they were saying. Some things they were saying to my face, some things I was hearing behind my back. But it caused me to feel like I was not deserving of it. And the truth of the matter is, I hate to say it, but the truth of the matter is there was a little self sabotage that I was trying to do just so I can stay fitting in with them. So I didn't push for the first class license immediately or initially. I just kind of stayed, okay, well, let me just, this is good. This is suffice. This is sufficient. Um, and it caused me to feel that I need to undermine my own personal goals, my own personal thoughts. And I would avoid opportunities to take the first class engineering license. um, it caused me to stumble and fall and try to fit and try to stay and try to be what I thought would make me acceptable with them, and it didn't. It didn't. Not only did it not make me acceptable, and I got more haters. Um, Eventually, there's something inside of me that wouldn't let it go. There's something inside of me that was like, no, this is not where you're supposed to stop. This is not where you're supposed to live. This is not the end of the journey. Heck, you're only 19, 20 years old. This is only the beginning of your journey. And this is only a part of what I want you to learn and gain for yourself. Ah, boy. Yes, it was something that I needed to do. And it was a little reluctancy to take a risk of going for the first class because you have to study more. But then to because you have to almost announce, but once you when you apply for it, you know, certain people get knowledge of this, and again the word gets out and start talking and say, oh, we see that you applied for the first class engineering license. Um, what's going on? Or oh, well, good luck. You sure you want to do that? Or it's real hard, right? And most people doesn't pass the first time, and I knew it was going to be a risk, and I was feeling uh, the fear of being exposed that, you know what, maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe I'm not good enough, and maybe I'm not worthy enough. Oof. Well, that none of those were true, but they felt real and true to me at that moment and at that time. So I went in to take the first class license after a few months. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I failed. I failed to complete the first um, exam. And you could take it again. Of course, you reapply. Of course, you pay again. And I felt good for one that I went through and I was able to experience it. And I had so many different voices coming at me that was creating anxiety. Um, I wanted to pass it on the first go round because guess what? I'm a perfectionist. At least I was a perfectionist at that time. Not so much today. I've learned to have a better balance, and it's not so good to to try to be a perfectionist and to try to have a desire to do everything right or everything perfect. Um, and actually, perfectionist um, behavior causes procrastination because you know what if I don't make it? What if I don't have the ability to complete these tasks, right? And for me, it was like, oh gosh, I want to do it. I know I can do it. I know I should do it. But for me, I'll ask you, how many times have you stalled in an opportunity that was right before you that you can just grasp and walk in it due to fear, okay? Due to fear that you can't obtain it or you won't obtain it, or if you do attain it, will it last? Ouch. This type of fear came upon me and it may come on others as well. that was causing me to stumble and to fall, crippling me, if you will, um, because I was afraid of what people may say, what they may think. I've already failed the test once. They're going to know I'm not perfect. Those types of thoughts and ideas was just banging me in the head. Banging me in the head because I just want to do, guess what? A good job. That's all I wanted to do. This was another goal and achievement. Okay. Now, the good part of this story is I was able to pull myself up by the bootstraps, buckle up, tie my shoes, wipe away my brow, the sweat, and some of the tears. And I was able to take the first class engineering license test again. This time I passed. Thank God. I passed. I passed. I was so thankful, so happy, so appreciative, and had a little small celebratory outing for myself um, with a few people, family members, and a few friends that I knew that were in my corner and rooting for me and pushing and just rooting me on, right? So it took that for me to even get to that point and get to that place. And it was not easy. It was not easy, but I overcame that. So overcoming those types of feelings and setbacks and challenges, overcoming internal conflicts, because a lot of the conflicts I had to deal with within myself. Because yeah, I heard the noise, which caused me to have the internal conflicts, but basically, um, I had to basically come up with encouraging myself. I had to take an assessment of self awareness. I had to have a deeper understanding of who Johnnie was and is at that time, and strengthen myself. Looking at my strengths, looking at my weaknesses, um, what type of triggers was causing me to think less of myself. And it was listening to those voices from outsiders, which I had to stop because the voices weren't going to stop, especially if they felt or saw that it was getting to me. So those types of triggers were no longer triggers. They were bouncing off me like hitting a wall and falling down. Now, it took time to get to this point and get to this place. Um, and I had to have the mindfulness to manage those types of voices, anxiety, and stress management because they were causing me to not walk out who I am and me not being the best person that I could be to achieve a goal that it was something that I wanted. They didn't want it. They just saw me going after it. They just know that it was something that they heard of and they knew of, but they didn't put the effort to go for it. I did, and I was able to obtain it. Um, when I first started looking at this, and I love to read and I love getting more educated. So I set, realistic goals to accomplish that specific achievement. So how did I do it? I took something that was large. Remember, I got my associate's degree first. I didn't get my bachelor's degree yet. but I got my associate's degree. I got my second class engineering license, and then I got my first class engineering license. And that was small steps, achievable goals over a period of time, not trying to accomplish it all in one setting, one swoop. It was going to be impossible, actually. Um, this process that I did for myself, you know, I learned from watching others. I've learned from what my teachers and instructors were saying what to do on how to overcome these different types of conflicts, setbacks by people. So I would get feedback from my professors and I would get their support because they were in the space of educating. So what I did was ask them different questions to help me basically understand how to achieve those goals, how to grasp those types of accomplishments within my ability, within my realm. Now, fair warning to the wise. Fair warning to the wise. One of the things that I learned in going through those processes is that success breeds contempt. Success breeds contempt. That's something that I learned, and I wasn't expecting it. But some people may did develop a certain disdain towards me for the success that they saw me achieving. Again, but beneath me not knowing, I didn't realize that I was getting people envious of me or getting angry with me because of their own lack of self control or lack of self discipline. It had nothing to do with me, but I didn't know that. Um, and even I recognize that even today, how people, the closer they see you or me get closer to achieving certain goals, they may tend to give you a little attitude. Or I've even been told, you think you all of that. And I'm like, just that as that small kid, that small boy. I just want to do a good job. I just want to help. I just want to do my part. And in doing so, I've been told that, and they would separate themselves because of their insecurity, their lack, their feeling less than because of what they didn't even try to go for or didn't have the courage to go for. They will make you feel, if you let them, they will make you feel as if you're doing something wrong or you've done something wrong or in my case, you think you all of that, which is definitely not the case. But as a result, it's inevitable sometimes that people will treat you in a negative way because you have act in a positive way, which has caused you to be successful on another level and accomplish another goal. So I encourage you to continuously move forward in that space and focus on growth. When you obtain a certain thing, don't stop there. Enjoy it, relish in it, embrace it, but don't stop there. Embrace having a mindset to grow and go further. If you can think it, if you can see it, if you can believe that you can get it, go for it. Take the challenge. Believe that if you have the opportunity, learn and figure it out how you can obtain it and go get it, right? Um, in this process, um, bumping my head, accomplishing certain things, bumping my head again, I learned certain decision making skills. These skills basically helped me and still helps me to improve on how to make good choices, critical thinking, problem solving. I enjoy figuring out complicated, complex issues and helping in certain resolutions and solutions. I enjoy doing that. It helps me feel a certain sense of accomplishment. But again, I'm also helping someone else with a certain situation or a problem. Okay. Which is part of my MO. That's what I enjoy doing. Um, and I recognize that one of the things that I it caused me to recognize because I've had to do self awareness, self reflection, self checks on myself because um, I want to feel that I'm able to be in the right spot, doing the right thing for the right reason, for the right people. So I try my best to not get so caught up in head knowledge and head thoughts, heart feelings. Um, if there's something that is causing me to feel bad, I do a self reflection and try to identify, the root cause of where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way that doesn't make me feel so good? Okay. Um, and it could stem from, like for me, the boy, bringing the Gatorade to the game, the crackers and the chips and stuff. Now, now, these kids and these parents, they did all that talking and saying these nasty critical things about me, about my parents, but they sure ate that food. they sure drunk. They sure drunk all of the Gatorades each and every time. The whole way, the whole time, as we were walking the water cooler up to the sidelines of the football field, they steady murmuring underneath their breath while walking over to see, okay, what you got today? You have any more to drink? Okay, you got snacks too? Oh, let's get that bag of snacks. So they were saying a lot of foolishness, but they was eating the food and the snacks and the drinks, right? But that's people sometimes. Um, and I know for me, sometimes when taking a leadership role, there may come a time or a propensity to feel responsible for the success of every decision that is being made, every initiative, every direction. You want to make sure that you are doing things right. You're trying to make sure that what you're presenting is going to be received and accepted. And especially at that age, but even today, that's too much weight for anyone to carry, to put that type of pressure on yourself, especially on a long term basis. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. And again, to help with overcoming these internal conflicts, you have to think and be a good leader. Good leader success evidence would be how they, in my case, be inclusive and gain the support of others and work collaboratively with others and try not to do so much on my own. When I got my first class license, engineering license, I studied, but I didn't study alone. I went to my professors. I went to um, other engineers that have gone through the process and asked them how was the test? How was their study habits? What did they see on the test that I should pay more attention to? So um, it took that. It was helpful for me to take the time to um, learn more and receive more. Um, and that you have to humble yourself, right? Humble yourself because you don't know everything, nor should you. Um, when you take on a task such as that, um, you may have to become a professional juggling person, right? You've gone to the circus and seen how uh, those people that are able to juggle balls and pins and knives and plates. I've gone to the Dallas Mavericks game, and they have uh, people with great skills for halftime to put on a show, and they're juggling all these different items um, to entertain us. But that that is a serious skill, and it takes time to perfect it and get to that point. But even in life, you will have to learn how to juggle multiple tasks at one time. And for me, when I look at, I'm at the Mavericks game and I'm watching them juggle, I look at that as entertainment, but it motivates me internally to try to not be perfect, but just try to use their discipline for me to go in the things that, you know what, I've been putting off on this next project. I've been putting off on this next education. I've been putting off on creating or building something at the house. And just watching them doing something that they love, doing something that they have grown to have great skill in a public forum in front of all these people, taking the time to juggle all sorts of items that is entertaining, but it's motivating for me. Yes, it's motivating. Motivation is a good, positive endorphin for me, where I take motivation and put it upon myself to try my best to strive to do something else. What's next? I do celebrate and appreciate my achievements, my goals, when I'm able to accomplish them. For me, I just don't stay there. Um, I don't accomplish something and hoist it up for the world to see and stay there. I don't. I can't. Look how much weight that is. That's weight. And you got to keep this, you got to keep this up. I can't do that to myself. So I appreciate, I celebrate, thank God for all that I accomplish and achieve, and then I move forward to the next assignment. What else does He want me to do? So, in doing that, I have something for myself where I create strategies for managing uh, multiple responsibilities because it's going to take me to achieve something else. And I may have this on one hand, and I may be carrying it because I still need it, but I want to be able to go and achieve something else. Why? For the greater good, for more of what I believe He wants me to do. And again, all that I grasp, all that I carry, it's not for me. It's not just for me. Yeah, I want to be able to accomplish it. Yes, I want to be able to achieve it, but it's not just for me. I want to be able to continuously give and do for others. So, what do I do? I prioritize my next assignment. If I get several assignments, I prioritize them. I identify what I want to do, determine which tasks I'm going to take next, what's the most critical, what's the most achievable. Some of them may be quick, fast, and in a hurry that I can grab. If that's the case, then I may do that one. But if it's not in line, that would make sense. Then even though I know I can grab that one, I may take on the bigger task so the smaller task can be in a line with me making certain things happen. Okay. Now, I was talking with this wonderful lady. She was interviewing me for a project that she wanted me to work on. And she got a hold of my information of achievements, and this was at work. And I accomplished quite a bit. And she looked at me and she said, "Johnny, how do you do all of this stuff?" And I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She said, "Well, I have 24 hours in a day just like you." I said, "Yes." She said, "But between her husband, her kids," she said she was trying to go to school, but she stopped that because she don't have no time for that. Cooking and taking care of things with the family. And she just went down this laundry list of things um, of why she couldn't do the things that she could do, that she wanted to do, but was looking at me and was like, "Well, how have you been able to do all this successfully and do it well?" And I simply said, "Well, I don't look at myself as have accomplished or done so much or done a whole lot of things. But I told her the things that I have been able to achieve, I prioritize. So prioritization is one, and time management is two, and dedication, I would say, is three. And, with time management, and I shared this with her, you have to allot yourself time for you. You have to look at your calendar, look at the clock, and say, on this day, at this time, I'm going to work on this because this is what I want to achieve, and I'm going to do it for myself. It could be exercise. You have to put in the time of when you're going to schedule and work out. Some of you, you may have to get up earlier. What's 1 hour? Get up an hour early. Don't try to do the whole hour. Do 35, 40 minutes. 45. Leave yourself time for taking a shower, if you will. Get a snack, something like a smoothie, something fruity, something that you can put in your body to give you energy and fuel that you've basically used. So that is what I share with her. And she was in amazement of that. And so she wanted to keep talking about that. And so the whole purpose that I was there in her office was to hear about the project that she wanted to work on or had me to work on. Um, and at the last few minutes, because we scheduled a 30-minute meeting, and so the last 2 or 3 minutes, she tried to hurry up and just talk about the project. And I was like, you know what? Just send it to me in an email, and I'll look it over and I get it and I'll get back to you. Because that's what I'm going to do anyway, is do my own research and do my due diligence and then do a follow up, right? And I just told her, um, make sure that you give me all that you want me to have, because as a team and as a team member, you know, as I share, I don't want to try to do everything myself. As a leader, good leaders, they learn to delegate, but delegate with their team members and their people that they can trust. Okay. And even with delegation, you want to give clear, concise instructions. You want to make sure that you're very specific, because even though, and I've done this is a mistake that I've done. I have the whole project in my head and I've shared most of the project out loud. But there's certain things in my head that I didn't share because I either assumed that they would know what to do as far as next steps, which was not right by me. So I failed to totally communicate what was needed to be done, right? Um, and in doing so, even with the timeline, right? You want to make sure that you set realistic goals. Um, Again, I needed to make sure that I was very specific. The goals that were set, the timeline was that set was measurable, it was achievable, um, and it was something that we all could do as a team together, um, in the time frame that was allotted us, right? And again, for me, what I've learned is to break down these tasks into smaller, manageable tasks, smaller, manageable steps, right? And that would help me to manage the team, manage the project, manage others, manage myself, because at a certain time, there's only so much you can do in a day. And you give yourself a certain time limit, a certain threshold, and say, okay, up to this point, this is where I'm going to stop. Whatever doesn't get done or whatever hasn't been done at this point, it'll have to wait till tomorrow because you can't keep trying to swallow a whole elephant. You have to take it one bite at a time, one chunk at a time, one bit at a time. So that way it's a manageable way of having a good work life balance, a healthy life balance with work and your own personal life. This is going to help you to keep you from burning out, keep you getting frustrated, keep you from having overload, taking on too much, you know. Um, and for me, I was able to push those certain things on the side, right? So that's another good thing. Now, with me, because I'm that nerd dude, um, especially on new projects, I love taking the opportunity to learn more about the project, the task at hand. So there's certain times that I may look for training manuals, training sessions, or something that I create myself to train others that are coming behind me, right? And for me, I'm not afraid to learn something new. And it takes some time because, again, remember, in the beginning, there's a little bit of conflict of insecurity, unsureness. Um, and what I've always tried to do when I learn something new is share that with others. Um, I try to build and encourage a good culture where people feel supported, where people feel that, you know what, I have a voice, I can say or ask a question or make a statement or make a suggestion. It may not be, and this is one of the things that I've done, because again, I want people to be able to speak up and voice something. When Helen spoke up and said that she had a great idea, she gave the idea, blah, 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 blah. I heard it, and it was a good idea. It just was not a good idea for this project at this particular time. And that's what I communicated with her. Not that her idea was bad. It just was not going to fit in this particular project or this particular timeline. But I shot back at him. Keep him coming. Keep him coming. I love that. And you open the floor for good communication, for good feedback, for good, again, collaboration. Um, One of the things that I will share with you also, remember I shared with you, success breeds contempt. You may have heard this phrase, it's lonely at the top. Well, when you're leading and you're trailblazing and you're the front person trying to make certain things happen. And again, I'm not saying that I have it all together. I don't. I'm just giving you some tips and guidelines on what I've been able to walk out and walk through. Because when you're trying to do your best, do good, you you will find yourself doing things, trailblazing, being the leader in the pack, being the first or the second. um, it's lonely there sometimes, and everybody doesn't um, understand where you are. They don't think the same way that you think. Um, you you want to not isolate yourself. You want to embrace others as much as possible and welcome their gifts in, their talents in with yours so that you can, again, walk together, play together, fellowship together, eat together, work out together. For me, golf together. um, it's a good, healthy way of living. So that way you're not by yourself. And now certain things you will be by yourself because that's the way certain things are designed, but you don't have to stay there. And it doesn't have to be some prolonged thing that make you feel this way or make you stay this way. Accept the responsibility and keep it moving. Accept that everybody's not going to be pleased with your decisions. Everybody's not going to be pleased with your success, which is unfortunate, you know. And it took me, when I was young, it took me a minute just to grasp that y'all not going to be happy. Y'all would think you would be happy for me that I was able to accomplish this or achieve this or I've helped with this. No, even to this day, this very day, I still have people that side eye me and make crude remarks, um, because, again, not anything negative or bad that I've done or am doing. Is because of their own selfless feeling of self worth within themselves. And I don't have any control of that. Neither do you. Um, so you continuously help as much as you can. Keep pushing forward, keep going, and let the chips fall where they may. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with Johnnie. I'm happy with me. I'm very pleased of the things, of the tasks that I have been able to come in my hands, and I put together something that's very positive for others to use, others to work with, others to be able to have something better in their lives. Because that's what it's about. That's what motivates me to come up with the next thought or the next idea, the next book, the next topic. Um, and I'll keep pushing and I'll keep making it happen. As long as God gives me ideas, creativity, and the means and the provisions to do it, it'll get done. All right. So, thank you for joining me again today, family, loved ones, and friends. It's been a blast sharing with you um, these ideas of just overcoming the burdens of being a good leader, to overcoming the challenges of feeling isolated or not being alone, because you're not alone. We're in this together. Okay, we're in this together. So thank you. Hit the likes, subscribe. Please share the video with others, and look forward to speaking with you on the next topic. And remember, my brothers and my sisters, be good, but dare to be great. I'll see you next time.